Audio.
Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, peep the new shirt. Shout out Del Reed from 26 Shirts. Sent me over this bad boy. Bob Ross painting a Buffalo Bills logo, the one that Josh Allen, I believe, drew during his rookie season. Welcome to another edition of Dom Mafia Live. I'm live twice a day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST and 5:15 p.m. EST, bringing you a variety of topics surrounding the Buffalo Bills, the NFL, things that we need to discuss. And today's topic is talk about belt to ass yesterday. As many of you know, I went live after my live game reaction to unpack exactly what I saw. It was more of my instant reactions. But I feel like that I was still on cloud nine. There was just so many good things that happened during this game that I couldn't actually sit back and collect and prioritize what I wanted to talk about. So luckily, after sleeping on it, this game is a hell of a lot more impressive than what the naked eye witnessed yesterday. This Buffalo Bills team made a damn statement. 31 unanswered points. And granted, when Denver ultimately ended up mowing down the field first drive, I said something probably more from a manifestation point of view, where I said, this Denver Broncos team is not going to score again. Now, I was trying to manifest that. I thought that they would score a bit more, but I was actually correct. This Buffalo Bills defense completely buckled in. And then afterwards, our offense just started humming. Some unsung heroes, 31 unanswered points. Josh Allen went out there, had a hell of a game. James Cook, top 5 running back in the NFL right now. I don't care what anybody says. And now we're positioning ourselves in a perfect way, welcoming Baltimore to the Buffalo Bills home stadium. Highmark. Super excited to unpack that game all week. And yes, spoiler alert, I do have the Buffalo Bills winning. I'm going to give you a couple of reasons. I'm going to make each and every single one of you believers. Don't necessarily lose sleep over this matchup. It's going to be close. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be like a Lions-Bills game. It's going to be like a Rams-Bills game, but hopefully with a better outcome. Quite a few things we're going to unpack today, but today is celebrating because the Buffalo Bills live to tell another tale. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Boys, this is absolutely gorgeous, man. We're starting off with a super chat to begin with. Where are the Broncos fans comparing Bo Nix to Josh Allen? So I'm going to tell you what, Bo Nix had a hell of a rookie season. I was a big Bo Nix hater during the draft process. I didn't think he would translate well into the NFL. However, he proved me wrong. He did well with what he had over in Denver. Sean Payton calling the shots. I heard a couple of things that Sean Payton really made this playbook hella complicated for the guy. I think Sean Payton almost forgot that Bo Nix was a rookie. And a lot of reports are coming in that Bo Nix was completely lost out there because Sean Payton strayed away from what made Bo Nix successful all year in 2024. And that was simplifying the offense so he could have his training wheels on for the entire season. He didn't have his training wheels on during that game. And that's why I think this Buffalo Bills defense really ultimately ended up popping off. And the thing is, guys, look. This defense that we saw yesterday, and something that I would love to continue to harp on for the remainder of this stream, when this defense is healthy, folks, we are deadly. And everyone in here was worried about Matt Milano. I'm not sure if you guys were able to look back on the tape or look back on the replay, but Matt Milano looked like Matt Milano. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Milano looked like Matt Milano out there. His speed is back. His change of direction is back. His threat in the run game is back. Coverage is there. It looks like he looks like what he looked like prior to his first injury. And that was week 5 of last year in 2023. And this is going to be a massive piece into at least sustaining or containing Derrick Henry. And I'm not sitting here telling you guys that we're going to hold Derrick Henry to 30 yards or 40 yards. That would be nice. I would be running through a damn wall. Bob would get an absolute ass beating out of pure joy if that occurs. But I'll tell you what, if Matt Milano can play any way like he did last week, I think holding Derrick Henry to about 80 to 90 is very reasonable. Very, very reasonable, man. This defense is something to get very excited about, and I cannot wait to unpack this Baltimore Ravens and Buffalo Bills game. But obviously, we have a lot to discuss regarding this Buffalo Bills matchup, man. So Spam Go Bills in the chat for me, everybody. Spam Go Bills in the chat for me. And also, if you're feeling it, if you're not feeling shy, let us know where you are tuning in from. I want a full roll call from Bills Mafia. This is a celebratory stream. I'm going to be welcoming on my good friend Kevin here probably in about 30 minutes, and we are going to unpack some of the advanced statistics that we will see. We have Cuckold Eli is coming in. Ravens are going to drop the hammer on you, clowns. So here's the deal. And I wouldn't be so confident going into this game because there's 3 reasons why I think that the Buffalo Bills are going to match up very well. Number one is that you are not playing the exact same Buffalo Bills squad, right? When we played you guys on week 4, number one, we had 3 of our most important defensive pieces out. Milano, Bernard, and Taron Johnson, our slot corner, who would have been tasked with guarding Zay Flowers. Milano and Bernard obviously being the guys that are a bit of an insurance policy when it comes into the run, right? Obviously, our safeties are an issue when it comes into run stopping. However, having both of those linebackers back is without a doubt encouraging. Number 2, Josh Allen had a broken hand. He had a broken hand. It was news that ended up going out there. He played through a broken hand through about week 7, week 8. So his ability to go out and actually scramble with confidence was not there in general. And number 3, our offense in and of itself completely looks different from week 4 as well. We didn't have Amari Cooper out there week 4. Shakir was playing on basically a broken ankle or a sprained ankle for 3 quarters. He had no choice but to be out there. Keon Coleman has developed beautifully. James Cook has really been hitting his stride. Dawson Knox has been hitting his stride. And one thing that I think should be even more interesting is you look at all these Buffalo Bills games, and there's always an unsung hero. There is always a random dude on our roster that leads the team in overall receiving yards. There's been several weeks where our running back 3 had the most receiving yards. Yesterday against the Denver Broncos, we had literally a guy that we signed to a 3-year contract, $72 million, Curtis Samuel, that quite frankly, I forgot that he was on this roster because he was an absolute ghost. But then Curtis Samuel ended up stepping up. I think that this Baltimore Ravens team ended up playing a shell of what this Buffalo Bills team is today. So any Ravens fan out here that thinks that it is going to be an absolute ridiculous blowout, I wouldn't say that at all. In fact, if I'm a gambling man, it's going to be something that is going to cause you heart palpitations. It's going to cause you blood pressure because this offense, this defense is significantly improved. So I just so happen to think it's going to be a hell of a game. So I would taper your expectations because if you are looking for a blowout and if you are expecting this to be a game where you can just kick your feet up, relax, and laugh with your buddies by the second quarter because you're up by 3 scores, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. I'm not putting my money up on that. Bob got pummeled yesterday. He certainly did. He did, ladies and gentlemen. He did. Like I said, I'm still recovering from my boo-boo, okay? Because I was beating the hell out of Bob a little earlier last week, and he bit back. He bit me, bro. So waiting on this to heal up a little bit. I bought myself some gloves, so they're on the way. But yeah. It's just something about bare knuckle punching Bob in the face that does it for me. You have no idea. Bernard Milano and Taron Johnson are playing, which is huge, which is absolutely huge. Here's another thing that we need to celebrate, folks. We got out of that game relatively unscathed in the injury department. It sucks about Ray Davis. It really does. But I like Ty Johnson. I think that he'll be fine. Maybe Ray Davis clears concussion protocol prior to Sunday. Having the game be the late game on Sunday is ideal because that gives him at least one more day to potentially recover. And then also Cam Lewis, still waiting on any answer that we get from Buffalo. We have a lot of Go Bills in the chat. Guys, roll call in the chat. I'm sorry if you have already done it. I wasn't paying attention. I got distracted from my boy Michelangelo over here on X. Roll call in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Do it again. Sincerest apologies. I want to see how long this Bills fan base truly extends. Roll call in the chat. Let me know what's up. 9-0 at home. Let's make it 10. In a cell, Dan, free Joshua Harris. You have no idea. So the only person I know that can beat up a dummy and get hurt and cry about it a week later. Glenn, you want nothing to do with these hands, baby. All right, listen, champion, baby. I'm a champion, baby. Trust me about that. It's beautiful. Slinky, we are also playing in Buffalo, where we are 9-0 this season. Arizona, bro. John Wolf, Blaisdell, New York. We have Cobbleskin, New York, coming on in. Prison Mike, Ontario, New York, baby. Let's go, Buffalo. Rhode Island, Sawdust, New York, Bills all the way. Washington, D.C., go Bills from Cheek to Waga. Scranton, Pennsylvania is in the house. Vegas, go Chiefs. Pepe coming on in. Boston, go Pats. DTN, what's going on with you, brother? Go Bills from Geneva, New York. Ravens don't care. You'll get bullied. Mike, Rochester, New York. Jersey, that's what I'm talking about. Lowville, New York. Hector, Bills Mafia in El Paso, Texas, baby. What's going on? Texas forever, brother. Go Bills from Salt Lake City, Utah. Cuckold. Jordan Smith, you Bills fans are soft. Okay. Port Charlotte, Florida. Robert Paragold, Arkansas. That's what I'm talking about. I want the Lions to win the Super Bowl. I'm assuming this is a Lions fan in the chat. Hope all is well. Daddy B is in the chat. Hold up. That's weird. That's really weird. Hold up. Run it back. Look up the information. Bills fans ranked number 2, blah, blah, blah. Lancaster, New York, at the home of Buffalo Joe. Go Bills from DMV area. Niagara Falls, New York. Carly, always in the chat. Carly, hope you are having a wonderful Monday afternoon. Puerto Rico, Villamar family. What is going on? Hope all is well. Go Bills. Jamestown, New York. Bengals from Fort White, Florida. Acoustic glue stick. What's going on, man? Sorry about your season, dude. Sincerely. Dallas, Texas. From the town, Buffalo. Big Bills guys in the chat. That's the dude. Canho, New York. Man, this is beautiful. Las Vegas, go Bills. Redemption time next week against the Ravens. John Hendricks, yeah, they do not stop being disrespectful. Let me see. Matthew, South Florida. JTL, Josh, we don't care what you... okay, Chris Godwin. What do you think of the safety position? Think Bishop gets run instead of DeMar? He is a much better run stopper. So the thing is, Chris Godwin, is that Bishop is a strong safety, right? So he's technically second in the depth chart to Taylor Rapp. If DeMar Hamlin is struggling, then the next answer would be Cam Lewis. But since he potentially is hurt, everyone that's been pounding the table for Micah Hyde to potentially return, this is the game where he potentially returns. So if Cam Lewis is out during the divisional, more than likely, Micah Hyde is that next person to be elevated from the practice squad. And if, for example, Sean McDermott and Babbage think that it's in their best interest to run with Hyde instead of DeMar Hamlin, is what it is. We'll see. We will see. Are we going to beat the Ravens? I'm scared that we are going to lose. Stop being scared. Stop being scared. I tried telling all of you last week not to be scared of the Denver Broncos, okay? And all of you were scared, all right, with your tail tucked in between your damn legs. Listen, do what you must, but I need all of us to have confidence in this team. For the love of God, we are fully healthy. We have won, 14 games this season, including last week. Our offense is firing on all cylinders. We have a top 5 running back. We have a quarterback in the MVP conversation. We have had a different wide receiver lead the team in overall receiving yards each and every single week. And our defense went out there and absolutely clobbered the Denver Broncos offense. And our offense also ended up destroying a top 5 defense in the NFL. 31 unanswered points. So don't be scared. Stop being scared. Be confident. Look at this team the way that it should be looked at. This is a damn good football team. We're fully healthy. We've hit our stride. And if everyone's nervous about the game that's coming up on Sunday, please look at it through context. Look at it through context right now. What was the Buffalo Bills starting roster? Reflect back. Who was out during this game in week 4 against Baltimore? Who was out? Our top 3 best players on defense were out. Okay. That's probably going to play a factor. Was our best wide receiver playing through an ankle injury for 3 quarters during the game? Did we have an offense with Amari Cooper out there yet, who has been an incredible distraction? He distracted PS2 all game last night. Is what it is. So here's the deal, guys. Don't look at this week 4 matchup and think that that's precisely what we're going to be seeing here. We are going to be seeing a squad that is fully healthy. We have a hell of a lot more weapons. And also remember that Josh Allen had a broken hand. He had a broken hand, ladies and gentlemen. He had a broken hand, ladies and gentlemen. So that jab is deadly. Absolutely deadly, bro. Knees weak immediately. Oh, there's my boy Corey. I'm just here holding down the Twitch chat. MB Surfer, I appreciate that. Corey, my boy, went to high school together with him. And we worked at an Italian restaurant growing up together. I'm pretty sure we were serving illegally, but shout out that Italian restaurant. 15-year-olds. I was sitting there opening up vino and stuff like that. Is what it is. I love that place. Best place on the face of the planet. Corey is the man. And he is one of 2 Twitch viewers right now. We have 250 on YouTube, 127 on X, and 2 people on Twitch. I'm a Twitch star, ladies and gentlemen. Show some respect, baby. Big Bills guy. So Lamar will win MVP, but was it worth it when we bounced them this weekend? Go Bills, watch. Once we do win on Sunday, I'm going to tell you what. I am going to be the biggest advocate for Lamar Jackson to win the MVP because I think it would be hysterical. I think it would be absolutely hysterical. But I do think it's going to be a game of a shootout. I know Josh is going to go out there and play like a monster. Look, like we can be nervous as nervous as we want about this defense. But here's the key difference right now. There's no way in hell that this offense is not going to go up and score 30. Like we're fully healthy, have a healthy quarterback, have James Cook out there running like his ass off right there. So it's not going to be like it was week 4. I can assure you that. All I'm asking for is that this defense, now that we have all of our 3 key players back, give us a couple of stops here and there. Dare I say a turnover? We are getting a turnover each and every single game. I want to see yet another one. We're going to have to see. Stop with the excuses. Should like a Dolphins fan saying Miami will make playoffs if Tua played the whole season. Glenn, no, you wouldn't have. Glenn, I know that you were so pissed off yesterday when you saw that the Buffalo Bills ended up creaming the Denver Broncos because you know for a damn fact that this is the year where we ultimately end up winning the Lombardi Trophy. And then you're going to go on another one of your vacations. Guys, anytime Glenn has a big game, like especially Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins games, dude, he talks all this shit, and then after the Buffalo Bills wipe the floor with them, he conveniently goes on vacation for like 2 weeks. Don't see him. Glenn, I hope you have a vacation planned after the Buffalo Bills and Baltimore Ravens matchup, okay? And I would probably extend it for about a month because you're not going to want to watch my streams. I promise you that. You will not want to watch my streams once we ultimately end up making it happen. So I hope you have a really cool vacation lined up, Glenn. Hope you have a good one, my friend. I will look forward to seeing you during the draft when you're saying, call me when you have 2 Super Bowls. That's what you're going to be moving the goalpost to next time, Glenn. Congratulations on the Dolphins. You guys are the sorriest organization on the face of the planet. You should have fired Mike McDaniel. You definitely should have fired Chris Greer, but here you are, stuck in mediocrity. As long as the Buffalo Bills are in this division, it doesn't matter what we do. You will not even have a damn chance of having appropriate seating to watch your team. So do me a favor, Glenn. Dust off your old dusty VHS tape and watch your 70s Super Bowl, Glenn. Relive it. Throw on your damn Miami Dolphins 1970s jersey, dust open the VHS cassette player, and watch it, because that's all you're ever going to witness. Sick of these Dolphins fans up in here. Enjoy your vacation, Glenn. Enjoy your vacation. Before the pride comes the fall. Glenn, you don't look... No. Glenn's the man. I love Glenn. He's the man. He just pisses me off. The Patriots will probably be better than the Dolphins next season. The Patriots will be better than the Dolphins. Dan, I have a friend that is a Ravens fan. My bad. I didn't type that. Trust. I don't believe you, my friend. Why are kids so bad at lying? Like, why are kids so bad at lying, dude? Like, back in the day when I was trying to skip school for my mom, dude, and I told her I was sick, I went as far as cooking up some fake oatmeal and throwing it in the toilet and being like, Mom, I'm sick. Now kids are just like, oh my God, it was my buddy who has access to my phone and he typed that. Kids, Stop being so shitty at lying, okay? That's what I got to say. He should be happy the Bills represent the AFC East. That's what I'm talking about. Last time I seen a Bills on Super Bowl, I remember 7 turnovers. Wow, Glenn, how did that reasoning go last week? Because I'm sure your ass was sitting there being like, oh, watch out for the Broncos. They beat the Bills last year. I'm getting sick of that whack-ass reasoning, fool. I'm getting sick of your whack-ass baseless reasoning, man. All you do is you just say, oh, the Bills are going to lose. I promise you the Bills are going to lose. Like, that's some genius take, Glenn. That's some genius take. How many teams win the Super Bowl every year, Glenn? 1? It's a coward take, Glenn. It's a coward take because the odds are always in your favor. But this time, send me a postcard from the Bahamas, Glenn, when you disappear after we beat the Ravens next week. How about that? I'm getting sick of talking to the Dolphins fans. Talk to me when you actually have a quarterback that is world-renowned as top 10. Because right now, that bum is the reason why you're not going anywhere. Tank for Arch Manning. That's your only opportunity. Send me a postcard from the Bahamas, Glenn. I'm looking forward to it. Damn. I wanted the Broncos this game, but huge Josh Allen fan as a Wyoming alumni. Make this run count. John Clay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Dominus, smack that dummy behind you for a Bills Super Bowl run, bro. Dude, listen, I 5-starred that man's face. You have no idea. Glenn, your Finns had a chance to win the division last year, and you shit the bed at the worst time. Pay. Answer is 1, and it's the Chiefs. Allen's about to let... Dude, listen. I don't care if you're a Ravens fan, a Broncos fan, a Bills fan, a Dolphins fan. Please, let's just bully the Chiefs right now in the chat for the next 5 minutes. I'm just kidding, Pepe. You're the man. I appreciate you. Allen's about to lay that thang on Baltimore D. 7 turnovers. Damn. Glenn, your takes are awful. They are. Always have been. Nice work versus Denver. Thank you so much. Finns are so sad, man. Get a real team. Talk to us when you win a playoff game. Oh, fun fact, Glenn. Did you know that Jaden Daniels was born after the Miami Dolphins last won a damn playoff game? Folks, that is for real. Jaden Daniels won a playoff game last night, very young. And fun fact, Glenn, Jaden Daniels was born after the last time that the Miami Dolphins won a playoff game. Huh? How about that? Sorry ass organization, dude. Sell the damn team. Sell the team, Glenn. Sell the team. And do you think the All-Pro M-Mod for Lamar means he's got the MVP too? Lamar and Pat are too small. Henry highlight reel incoming. Dan, let's go, Buffalo. Guy's name is PP. Whose name is PP? Fluffy. Agreed, Melissa. Dominus is coming in. Bills weren't healthy when they played Baltimore. And all the mouth breathers are trying to tell you that this is going to be the exact same team. Bills' greatest show on snow turf. Bills are divisional round purgatory. You are in mediocrity purgatory, Glenn. Congratulations. Jaden Daniels has won a playoff game before the Miami Dolphins won another one throughout his entire... Wow. Wrong, Glenn went to the AFC Championship game in 2020. Glenn's always wrong. Glenn don't know ball. He just takes these fucking, like, random, baseless, very easy takes, no courage takes at all. He's like, oh, guarantee you the Bills aren't going to win the Super Bowl this year. Wow. How much intelligence goes into that one, brother? How much intelligence goes into that one, man? You're picking one team out of 32 not to go all the way. My God, the research that you must have put into it. My God, Glenn. Cope and seethe, Glenn. Start doing your mock drafts. Send me your mock drafts and your postcard from the Bahamas, Glenn. Kevin Johnson. Morning, Dan. Hope you had an amazing weekend. Go Bills. So ready for Sunday night already. We got to beat them this time. It is happening. JTL, Glenn. No. Listen, no personal attacks. Glenn's my boy. He's just pissing me off today. We're keeping it football. Ladies and gentlemen. No personal attacks in the chat to anybody. You can personally attack me, but I'll send you to therapy. I promise you that. Brian, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Go Bills. Robert, every week Bills fans hear how great the team they are facing us great as the Bills beat them and the team's Bills. Yes, I love it. If the Bills can contain Lamar and stop the run, they will win. Absolutely. Look at this. Hello, Dan. Go Bills. It's not Baltimore that worries me. It's Derrick Henry. So, Melissa, I'm going to tell you this. And this is something that I think that you should feel pretty good about. Okay. And then something I've been trying to tell people. And this is what the stats are suggesting. Number one, I want everybody in here to understand. And so I want everybody in here to understand that we were out Milano, Bernard, and Taron Johnson. Okay. And even Cam Lewis, who is a rotational guy that sometimes fills in. And Derrick Henry ended up going for what? Like close to like 200 yards. I want you to look at something. Derrick Henry versus the Bills. And so I want you to take a look at what this guy has done for us, okay? And I think it's going to resonate with you guys. I really, really do. Okay, let's go on ahead and pull this bad boy up. All right, here we are. Okay, so rush yards. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so we go ahead and exit out of this for a second. First game, while he was with the Titans, 56 yards, 78, 57, 143, 25, and then 199. So I think that we can all agree his average is 93 yards a game. And if we can hold Derrick Henry to 93 yards, I think this game is winnable. It's more about how our offense can go on ahead and transition. Okay. His rush touchdowns average is 1.3. His reception yards are 4.8 per game. Where's his rush yards? Right here. So 93. And then that's what we're looking at. So what this number tells you, Melissa, is that for the most part, outside of two outliers, Sean McDermott defenses tend to do well against Derrick Henry. So we look at this one, 199 yards last game we played while he was on the Baltimore Ravens. 199 is a gashing. But remember, there was no Bernard. There was no Matt Milano, no Taron Johnson. Okay? So if we can hold him to 93, which is his average against the Buffalo Bills, which is very good. I would say that it's probably the best out of many of the competition. We have held him to 25 once, 57, 78, 56. We have done it before. Now that we actually have a fully healthy personnel set, I have a feeling that we're about to be okay. I really do. So obviously we're going to make some things happen. But we see. If you can hold them under 150, you have a chance. Absolutely. Glenn, good take, Glenn. Good take, Glenn. Our team needs to repeat what we did this week against Denver, control the clock with the time of possession. And I'll tell you what, man, like I would say the most impressive thing that I saw from this squad against the Denver Broncos was how dominant we were in overall time of possession. Like nobody can take that away from us. Like 48 minutes of time of possession is nuts. But I hate to be that guy. Michael. I don't think that we're going to be able to do that against Baltimore for a variety of reasons. Number one, they also like to run the football. I don't think that they're going to have 13 minutes of time of possession. Like not unless we really take advantage. Like we really, really take advantage of like some turnovers here and there, but it's not going to be a massive difference between time of possession during this game. It's just not going to happen, dude. Let me see. So you have to hold Lamar to Tat is the problem. Bills suck with a running quarterback. Well, hey, listen, man. We'll see how the Ravens do against a running QB. Ravens run defense is the best in the NFL, but hey, listen, man. So here's the thing. So the Denver Broncos was like the third best run defense in the NFL. And we had James Cook go out there and put 140. I wouldn't even say that we stay away from running the football so against Baltimore, because quite frankly, like when it comes down into it, chat, like we just don't seem to be afraid about anything. Like we don't seem to be afraid about anything at this point. Like we're just out there just doing whatever we please. Kiggs is coming in the chat. Hey, Dan and Glenn, shut up. You just be talking. I pray for the haters. I hope you find peace in your troubled life. Blake. Hey, Dan, good morning. Would you guarantee a Super Bowl if the Texans are playing in the AFC Championship? 110%. 110%, bro. That actually would be, I don't know. Like I feel like I wouldn't enjoy the Super Bowl as much if we didn't end up sending the Ravens home and then the Kansas City Chiefs. I suppose I would be okay with playing the Houston Texans at the AFC Championship because we would be hosting it. And I suppose that we would have ended up beating both of the teams that beat us earlier in the season. But I feel like something about this Buffalo Bills squad, it wouldn't feel right to go to the Super Bowl without handing an absolute ass whooping to the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. I'm not sure if I'm alone here. I'd probably be that way. Clay Miles. So Lamar isn't better than Josh Allen in the playoffs. With Josh is 6-5 and Lamar is 3-4. So Lamar is was it a mate? Oh wow. T Dobbs, we nearly had 6 interceptions yesterday, but just missed out. Next Sunday, 3 picks and a fumble. Lamar being the fumbler. I don't know about that. Hey, Dan, it will be snowing all weekend in Buffalo. Bring on the snow, baby. Bring on the snow. And before anybody says, oh no, like how's Josh Allen going to pass in the snow? I ask you to go look at his numbers against the San Francisco 49ers. That was a pure blizzard out there, baby. We already know what it is. If Bills don't get 100 yards rushing, they are done. Cannot put that much pressure on Josh's shoulder. So between Josh and Ty Johnson and James Cook, I think that will be okay. So one single 100-yard rusher or 100 yards in general. If that's the case, I really think that we're going to see. So I really think that we're going to see Josh go off with his legs too. With Josh Allen will go off with his legs during this game because he was playing very careful on week 4 when he was hurt. Dude had a broken hand. He was not going to be going out there and running the football. Did everyone see my cousin's Eric's snow sculpture in Springville? I have not, but please tag me on X and send me a picture of that shit because I want to see it. Who cares who we beat to get to the Super Bowl as long as we get there? Go Bills are 9-0 at home now. As a Bills fan, that's from Baltimore. We must win or my DMs will be attacked. Dude, you have no idea. You have no idea, man. Some Ravens fans said that he was going to pull up and kill me, and he wouldn't even care. And then I ended up looking over at him, and he looked like Goldberg. So dude looked like Goldberg from that one movie. I think it was called Fat Camp or something like that. Some 14, 15-year-old kid. Ravens fans want me dead, bro. They want me dead with this whole MVP conversation thing. It's weird, but fasten your seatbelts because things are about to get a hell of a lot worse when the Buffalo Bills send them home on Sunday. Okay, yeah, damn right, brother. Josh Allen is going to light those Ravens up passing and running. Marcus, when have you seen the Ravens play in the snow this year? Marcus Warren, would the snow impact Lamar and the Ravens? I'd say probably in the passing game. Josh has been playing basic football. Just wait until Josh puts the cape on. Bring on the Ravens. Go Bills. Martavius, best strategy is to hope for a Ravens mistake. It's not even so much that. It's just I'm a hell of a lot more confident now because we have a entirely different offense. Week 4, we had an offense with Khalil Shakir with a sprained ankle and Josh Allen with a broken left hand. That was our offense, right? Now we have Josh Allen fully healthy. We added Amari Cooper to the mix, which is going to be a distraction for Marlon Humphrey, I would automatically assume. We also have an offensive line that only gave up 1 sack against the number 1 sack defense in the league. Yesterday. We literally ended up only giving up 1 sack to the number 1 sacking defense in the NFL. So I like our offensive line. I really do. I like Keon Coleman. I like Khalil Shakir. I really like what Dalton Kincaid could potentially do. Maybe we have what's-his-name coming on in and figuring it out. But we're going to have to see. M. Strasser, bro, look how pressed the Kansas City and Ravens fans are. Ain't no way I'm watching any other team's YouTuber. Just gives cornball vibes. Well, it's mostly my fault because I'm an NFL, TikTok, Instagram guy. So I always have these people come over. And no, dude, listen, every single fan base is allowed in here. Every single fan base is allowed in here to talk trash. Don't listen to a thing this clown says. He had a Pittsburgh beating us, LOL. B's number. Ravens for Life 716, otherwise known as B-Rad from the movie Malibu's Most Wanted, dude. Malibu's most wanted. I'm not sure what's more impressive. How I am this dude's biggest fan. Like this guy has like a poster of me on his wall. I swear to God. He's always in the waiting room. He's doing his thing. He watches me more than he watches Ravens YouTubers. I can tell you that. What's more impressive? The amount of child support payments you have or the amount of Dan Mitchell live streams you have? Ravens Life 716. I'm just kidding, B-Rad. I'm just kidding. You know I love you. You know I love you. But listen, your shit talking is actually pretty weak, my guy. Your shit talking's pretty weak. And from around the street, I heard your stroke game's pretty weak as well, my guy. I heard your stroke game's pretty weak as well. Is what it is. Is what it is. You're my biggest fan. You're in here every single stream. I'll send you an autograph, all right? I'll send my autograph on a starter cap, my friend. Make it happen. Make it happen. Asking for a friend at Pittsburgh win. This guy is wrong always. And your parents are wrong that you would grow up to be a doctor and a lawyer, all right? What are you doing now? Ravens fan for life? Ravens fan for life. Pay your child support for the love of God, man. Also, 0-3 at home playoffs. Corey Sampson, go Bills from Kansas. Billy Talon at Dan Mitchell. Honestly, I think we need to rush for 200 yards and keep Lamar and DH and Ravens fan for life. You know I love you. All right, listen, I'm just talking shit. I hope you understand that it's all part of the show, my boy. It's all part of the show. You call me a clown, but you love me. Come on. You're in every damn stream, fool. Obviously, I entertain you. Lamar ain't doing good in the snow out in the Winter Soldier, is going to light up the Ravens. Sorry, linebackers and secondary. I love this. If Russell Wilson could see in the pocket, they might have had a shot. Absolutely. Lamar has 2 good playoff games in a row. This is where he goes pumpkin mode. Wow. 45-3. Did you know how Stephon Diggs' whole demeanor changed after getting traded to the Texans? He's all about Josh now. For people shit-talking to be weak, they sure do get under your skin. Glenn, it's part of the show, Glenn. It's part of the show. Look at my numbers, Glenn. I'm entertaining. It's called entertaining, my friend. What do you want me to be? Some buttoned-up snooze ball on a local television show? So the Bills woke up today and they practiced from 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. I don't know, John. I think that this route running is absolutely incredible. I'm nervous about this matchup. I think it can go out. Fuck that, Glenn. It's called marketing, my friend. It's called marketing. Why do you think I have 200,000 followers across all platforms, Glenn? Why do you think that is? It's because of the character I created, my dude. Don't sleep on my business sense, fool. Don't sleep on my business sense. I'm getting sick of you questioning me, Glenn. Trying to sit here and act like I don't know what I'm doing. All right? Like I don't know what I'm doing right now, brother. Relax. Relax, Glenn. Jorge. How did TD and Richie move the goalposts? I don't know. We're going to have to see. Broken tables. Talking about week 4 when we spanked y'all every time before that, Josh. JA17. That was nice 28-14 win against Steelers defense. That wasn't even trying. This stream is golden comedy show from all the Ratbird trolls. Absolutely. Mar, if Lamar balls out, the narrative is running out. If Josh Allen balls out, I hope Lamar gets the MVP so I can laugh. What's so funny? It took them since 2019 to beat us. We beat them in the playoffs, and the year after in Baltimore, they finally get a win and don't know how to act. They don't because they hate us because they ain't us. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Michelangelo is coming in. Obviously, I'm new to your page, but Glenn Verstan is pure comedy. Dude, listen, man, you stick around, my friend. We're going to be having some good stuff. Victor, Diggs could have had it all if he just stayed and worked with Allen. Patience is a virtue. Bills will hoist the trophy, and Diggs will be looking from afar. Damn, that was the best toy ever. Sounded might have went up another 30K if you stayed that way. That didn't even make sense, Glenn. Are you hammered? Are you drunk? Don't be drinking on Mondays, Glenn. It's not good. Josh is the MVP. We will beat the Ravens bums. That's what I'm talking about, draft pick. Speak it into existence. Josh is the king of turnovers. Sign of low IQ. No, a sign of low IQ was your mother not taking a plan B after conception. Like a sign of low IQ, Aaron Butler, was your mother not taking a plan B the day after your daddy ended up making you. That's precisely what it was, Aaron Butler. That's a sign of low IQ. I'm not sure about you, but his turnovers are pretty damn good this year. Lamar Jackson has more turnovers than Josh Allen. Speak it into existence, Aaron Bumler. Aaron Bumler. is in here, dude. Damn, dude. Aaron Bumler in the chat. I'm just kidding, Aaron Bumler. I'm just kidding, Aaron Bumler. Listen, if you come for the king, it's going to happen. Y'all ran against our third string linebackers and think y'all actually did something. And we have Carly. She liked that insult. All we have to do is force 2 punts. Clemson, 125. Derrick Henry scares me, not going to lie. Hope our run defense shows up like we did on Sunday. The funny thing is Lamar has more turnovers than Josh this year. So how is that low IQ? Pez 28-21 incoming. Go Bills. Justin is saying, Dano is fired up. I always am. That's my personality now. I bet Aaron is part of the Milkyverse. He had to rebrand. Yeah, Henry scares me too. We are too small. Dan is loving the tears he is drinking out of his mug. Nom nom tears. Absolutely, it's coming in. Here comes the excuses. We had a bellyache. He had a headache. Stop, bro. A fucking broken hand, BL Smooth? And so what's your excuse for not making your parents proud, BL Smooth, huh? What's your excuse, brother? Huh? What's your excuse, BL Smooth, for not making mom and dad proud, huh? Get a broken hand, fool. Talking about. What's your excuse for calling out of work? Huh? What's your excuse for not having a job, BL Smooth? Oh, guys, I'm just kidding, okay? I love each and every single one of you for coming in here. This is part of the show. Don't take anything I say seriously. We just need to secure tackles. Absolutely, Captain Pegleg. Lamar, let it be known he doesn't like a cold. What's up, Kevin?
What's going on?
I'm sorry, bro. You see me hitting Bob back there?
Yeah, I did. What did Bob do today?
No,
what was his issue?
It's just people in the chat, man. It's just Ravens fans in the chat. It's, it's Chiefs fans in the chat. It's people trying to downplay the absolute impressive victory. And you know what? I tried going live yesterday directly after the game, but I feel like that there was just so many positive attributes that came out yesterday. I really couldn't collect all of my thoughts. So I slept on it, and we've started the stream by talking about quite a few of them. But, dude, I can't stop thinking about, number one, Matt Milano seems to be back. Defense ended up showing out. Great performance from the offensive line against one of the best pass rushes in the NFL, -1 sack. And the offense, once again, giving us an unsung hero of Curtis Samuel as the highest receiving wide receiver out there. Talk to me, man. I'm sure you went to bed with a smile on your face.
Yeah, we talked about it on, I believe, last time I was on, so Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day it was. And we talked about Milano first. And I said, he's back. Like I mentioned the Jets game. And he looked very good in the Jets game. Like he looked like he was back. Now it was against a bad opponent and blah, blah, blah. They blew him out. So it was like, maybe, it's easy opponent. It doesn't matter. Who cares? But he played so well that the Bills benched him against the Patriots. I thought for sure he would get some reps in the Patriots games. He needed it coming back, and would make sense to give him, even Rasul Douglas had some reps. So it would make sense for to give him 20 to 30 reps. They didn't. So that was eye-opening to me that either he was hurt, which it wasn't, or he was back, which it was. So then you saw it yesterday. I mean, he was spying Bo Nix. He's absolutely part of the Lamar plan this weekend. So that was a huge benefit. Like, look, Josh Allen's weapons are limited, but what he does have this year over years past is the O-line. Like, it's all worldly right now. Like, I think it's better than they're saying. If they're going to run block like that, that's kind of sometimes their weakness is they're focusing on pass pro. But if they're going to run block like that, this O-line is top 2 in the league. Like, no doubt about it. Like, I'm not worried about it. So quite frankly, Dan, I came away thinking 0 pressures allowed by Spencer Brown, 0 by Osiris Torrance again, only 1 by David Edwards, which was a sack, against all pro, and 1 by Connor McGovern. So their lowest pressures of the week, Dan, or of the year, excuse me.
Yeah, it's crazy too, right? Because like you looked at that game, I saw the Denver Broncos run defense was pretty good from a metric standpoint. So I was just like, you know what? I think James Cook might be able to have some sort of threat in the pass game because that's
Yep.
something that they ultimately struggled with. I'm pretty sure James Cook didn't record a single reception that game. Like it was just ground and pound right down the middle. I wonder if that, like, leading up, and I hate to preview this Ravens game already because it is early, but like I kind of wonder if we're looking at this number one run defense in the NFL, but we're just like, nah, with James Cook's on an absolute heater and this offensive line's on an absolute heater, I think we're just going to put James Cook in their damn face and they're not going to know what's going to hit them.
Yeah, what's interesting for the Bills that I like to comment on is they can just change their mind every week. So that's something they haven't really been able to do, where it's like, well, Josh Allen needs to put on a cape. He needs to be really good. He needs to find mismatches. Hopefully we'll call some good plays. But now it's like they can switch between a couple of different game plans. Like last week was half of what I thought. It was the tight end domination, the middle of the field weakness by them. It was, Ty Johnson was part of the plan. One, he got hit and Ray Davis got hit and taken out. It was a really good play to the running back. Little overthrow. Probably would have gone for good yardage anyways. And then the touchdown in they have plus matchups at the running back position in the backfield. They decided to run the ball because it was so effective. Dan, if it wasn't that effective, you would have saw some more running back passes. But they're like, we don't need them. Like they're running for 5 and 6 yards a carry. Like that's tough to beat. Even to your biggest playmaker, even if you have Jamar Chase, if you're running for 6 yards a carry, I mean, that's
Like what's the point?
It's
right.
Domination. You're getting a first down almost every time every 2 touches. Mm-hmm. So that's ultimately where they just decide to roll that into the future. Now this week, they may say something like Baltimore's going to prepare for our running game. We ran for 210 yards. Yeah, that may not be the game plan. Maybe they go with a more wide receiver focused game plan. Brandon Stevens is a weakness over there. Like I still thought Pickens had his way at times. Better quarterback play. I mean, I thought Russ played fine, but better quarterback play, better O-line play, and that's a different game. Like a little stronger defense. I thought Pittsburgh's defense was supposed to what was keeping them in the game. They weren't very good. Like it was not a good performance at all. They weren't good down the stretch, losing 5 straight. Like that was a team that didn't deserve the playoffs. I thought the AFC playoffs were always a 4-team race, maybe a 5th with LA, but it was, I mean, LA and Houston, I didn't have very much hopes to. But Dan, the run game plan, possibly they whip it out. But if they saw stuff they liked on film against Pittsburgh by Baltimore, they're gonna alter it. Like that's what's good about Joe Brady is they didn't still want to. It's still a progression. And I started to think they started opening it up and use some plays in the third quarter when they're like, all right, like we're only up 3, we're only up 6. Like, we got to go in and dip the book a little bit. And they did, including the drag route to Curtis Samuel, which confused the heck out of one of the best defenses in the league. Patrick Surtain got toasted. They couldn't tackle him. Ultimately, it comes down to, I think you'll see a little bit more of the second half Baltimore or Denver game against Baltimore rather than the first half where they were domination on the ground.
Interesting. Very interesting. Now, like looking at their overall secondary, because I remember at the beginning of the season, you were like, you know what? I don't like the way that this Buffalo Bills team matches up against the Baltimore Ravens at the beginning of the season. But I've been noticing a couple of things, 3 things in particular that I think should be mentioned. And maybe this gives you more confidence. And I'm hoping that this will give more confidence to the people watching right now. But what I've been married to for the past 24 hours is that this is an entire different squad that they will be playing. Right? Yep. Because have to mention that we didn't have Bernard, we didn't have Milano, and we didn't have Taron Johnson. And someone I think said we didn't have Cam Lewis that game either. While he was a rotational guy, maybe I could be wrong there, but I think that is going to be something that is going to play a part. And I am still looking at...
It was Rapp they didn't have, just by the way.
It was Rapp they weren't out. Okay, which is also massive.
He played like 10 snaps and got hurt, and so did Khalil Shakir.
Okay, so that makes me even more confident going into it. And I'm not sitting here saying that like we can completely stop Derrick Henry right in his tracks. But I think if everybody, especially Ravens fan or Bills fans, are thinking that he's about to like pop off another 199-yard game with all of those players we have out there, with Sean McDermott's history against him, where he's had several games where he's held him to 50, 60. If we can hold him to his average, Kevin, to 90, I think that's very doable with a fully healthy squad out there in Buffalo. And then on the offense, side of things, like you said, Shakir was out there playing with a damn sprained ankle for about 3 quarters. We didn't have Amari Cooper out there, who I thought was a tremendous distraction for the Denver Broncos yesterday while everybody else was out there eating. And the further progression from Keon Coleman. And Josh Allen doesn't have a fucking broken hand like this game either, which is also ideal. So are you feeling some type of way? Are you feeling more confident going into this playoff game than you were feeling going into the week 4 matchup?
Yeah, like, so what was weird about that week 4 matchup too was the Bills are 3-0. Like, they were starting to pull away. Like, I guess the Jets hadn't collapsed yet. They were kind of like right there buzzing, but like ultimately Miami lost to like the Bills knew early on that it was
their division.
It was their division. They kind of had that sense. The Ravens were kind of opposite, where they had lost some games. They almost lost. They should have lost 3 straight, including one to Dallas, and they ended up pulling it out late. They were almost going in 0-3 into that game. Like, so they were playing for like they had started to lose a little bit, and then, obviously the Ravens ended up taking the division back, but that could have been a devastating loss. So they went in all high hopes, and the Bills just didn't look right. Like, they didn't look right from the start with that. Maybe the game plan they were thinking of didn't work. They started to rally in the second half and then ran the trick play. We hadn't seen another trick play the rest of the year.
Thank God.
So ultimately, it's a 60-minute game. That's what's weird about football, that we always glaze over that it's not a 7-game series like it is in the divisional round of baseball's 5, but it's not even a 5-game series at that point. Like, you're talking about, like, you have 60 minutes to pull off your best game plan, and if you throw an interception or you get hit on a trick play that doesn't work when you have minimal room for error, it's over. The game's over. So ultimately, I do trust that having your possibly three best defenders, and then obviously your main safety. You're running DeMar Hamlin and Cam Lewis was the one playing, like, basically beat him and DeMar Hamlin. Cole Bishop's really first experience. Like, there was so much about that game, Dan, that is not even close to the same thing as today. I hope they think it's the same, because it wasn't. So you had, let's see at the snap counts of that game. Like, you had Cole Bishop playing 41 snaps, his first real action.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough. You had DeMar with his 57 snaps, Balin Spector with 55, who's now not even on the roster. Morrow had to play 16 snaps, now not on the roster. Cam Lewis played 41 snaps, which is a lot. Dorian Williams, who's a complete liability, in my opinion, in coverage, had to play 49 snaps in that game, as he did early on at least. Buffalo Joe even got in early on in his tenure with 3 snaps. Like, it's just a matter of the roster not being even Casey Tuhill playing 16 snaps and now not on the roster.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could go through it and say, like, the difference is this time around. Like, usually the Chiefs can say this, we got Hollywood Brown back, we have Rashee Rice back, we have Isaiah Pacheco back, whatever it is. The Bills can say that this time around, and they're saying we have 3 legitimate starters, 4 with Rapp who didn't play, and Shakir was not playing, and neither was Cooper.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you have a completely different game plan that ultimately may have been totally altered, but the Bills are going to implement something. They've always played Lamar good. So I'm interested to see how that happens this week. I ultimately think they're going to run DN contain. They're going to try their best to keep him in the pocket, which they do pretty well. And then they're not going to get ripped at an 87-yard touchdown run. That's for sure. Like, I don't believe that'll happen.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Certainly have some super chats to go through, and then I have something that I think we should be thinking about, something that should be making Bills Mafia a tad excited and a bit nostalgic as well. On the way to New Orleans now, sitting on a plane. Too bad I won't be there when the Bills arrive in a few weeks. Go Bills. Get your tissues ready, Ravens. Wow, Hans. We have to use 3 linebackers, 4-3 defense, or we lose the game. I don't feel comfortable taking Taron Johnson right off of that field.
Yeah. What's interesting there is, like, last time they had been the option to do that when you didn't have Taron Johnson, but the problem is they didn't have the linebackers in, because then you didn't have Bernard or Milano. So you're running, like, I mean, Dorian Williams, I don't even know, like, who, Balin Spector and Buffalo Joe. Like, Cam Lewis is still probably better than both of those other linebackers. But now that you're fully healthy, I mean, maybe you could run some snaps with Dorian. It's probably not crazy that Dorian Williams could see some time. Him and Taron Johnson would be a wrinkle. And you could pull off DeMar or something. So possibly if you're sure they're running, you could run some 4-3.
Absolutely. Albert, answer me, Bubba. Who won the helmet? Oh, man. Who won the Jim Kelly helmet? Let me get his name. I sent him a DM. I announced it yesterday during my stream. Let me double check. His name is Corey Herbert. Corey Herbert won the helmet, but have no fear. Have no fear because I'm giving away a signed Taron Johnson jersey this week, ladies and gentlemen. You already know what it is. Please do me a favor. You have to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment on this stream once it's all said and done. I'll be picking a random winner during my live game reaction against the Baltimore Ravens. Don't worry, folks. We're doing giveaways all season long and maybe
So
even
how can
a
you take
couple.
him off the field, Dan? If he's your giveaway, we definitely can't run a 4-3.
No. We can't run a 4-3, especially since he's the giveaway. And I'm hoping for another pick six that goes 97 yards in Buffalo would be ideal. I would absolutely love that. Make Lamar beat us with his arm. Craig Ellsworth is coming in. I mean, listen, man, I just really hope this defense shows it and contains it as much as possible. But like what I'm most excited about is that I think Baltimore will score against this defense. I do. But why I'm more confident is that I know that our offense is just a different animal this time, and I don't see them holding us to 10 points again. I honestly think it's going to come down to like a 31-28 game, 35-31, 38-35, a repeat of the Rams, of the Lions sort of matchup. I'm not sure where your head is at here, Kevin, but I don't think that it's going to be a massive blowout either which way. It's going to be one of those back and forth blood pressure games from what I'm sensing.
Life's too short to bet the under, Dan. But
Life's too short.
I've been living on the under this year and it's been hitting. And I just have this weird sensation that maybe with the weather, it's not going to be down torrential 6 feet of snow, but it's going to be enough to like alter a little bit if we get the wind, maybe some flurries, maybe the cold. Like sometimes that can alter like a little bit of the game. For me, I just think that both defenses are going to play their top-notch style. I just don't think it's going to be a 45-42 game like you saw against the Rams, maybe against the Lions. I don't see it. Like I think that
some dome games. Yeah, you're right.
I think the Bills will hold them to a little bit better than they did last time, and they'll score a little bit more than last time, obviously. I think you'll get a 20s both ways. So I think the Bills will elevate. They'll play a little bit better defense to knock them into the 20s. That's kind of where I'm at. And it's really going to come down to, can the Bills do enough special teams related to not miss field goals? Bass looked good yesterday, which is great, which is like one of the better signs, 5 for 5. That's what you need right now. Like we need him at 5 for 5 level, feeling confident, because it's going to, I have a strange suspicion it's going to matter on Sunday night.
Yeah, definitely going to matter on Sunday night. Let's see. Carl, Dan, any injury update yet on our sweet baby Ray? He is in concussion protocol. I'm not sure if he will play. I don't believe that this was his second concussion. I don't know about his concussion history in college. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's his first one in the NFL. I could be wrong. And so a lot of it's blending in. If I had a guess, he probably won't play, but thank God we have perhaps one of the best RB3s in the NFL. So with Ty Johnson. So I feel good with James Cook, and I feel good with Ty Johnson being out there. I feel like we won't miss a beat. But yeah.
Ty Johnson's kind of taken over right now, like just how good he's been because he's taking the third down snaps, and then he's getting useful across the field. I would go all out to say he's definitely 2A at the moment anyways.
Yeah.
Like I think that's fair. So he's going to get a little bit of uptick in his snaps, but ultimately the Bills will run a James Cook, Ty Johnson kind of combo with maybe Frank Gore Jr. as a real emergency.
Frank Gore Jr. to come back, man. Just another hey, listen, man. I would not be surprised if he becomes an unsung hero, rise from the damn practice squad, because I feel like every offensive skill position has stepped up at one point during this season. So to be the key common denominator of why we ended up winning. So nothing surprises me. But have we heard anything about Cam Lewis? And if he is not done, does that mean that Micah Hyde is elevated? I think that is
Kareem Jackson would be the next guy up, as they've already called him up. Yeah, Kareem Jackson's definitely the safety back up there. They like him for multiple reasons. So I think Micah Hyde's firmly a player coach at this point.
He's a player coach. He's coming on in. Love that hype video from him as well, though. Really got me going. Had Buffalo played Miami, we would have put up 45 at least. And the excuses that we didn't play anyone good is just haters being haters. I love the show. George, thank you so much. Thank you so
Sounds
much, man.
right.
I appreciate
Yeah.
you for coming on in. We have acoustic glue stick. Aaron, it's not a stats award. Okay, we just have people arguing amongst each other in the chat. Wow, man. A lot of people in here just arguing amongst the chat real fast. It was week 4. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys argue, and Kevin and I are gonna continue to talk a little bit of football here. Oh my God, guys, smash that like button for me. Easiest way to support the channel. And definitely do me a favor and go subscribe over to the Built in Buffalo Network. That's where you can find Kevin and his show with Kevin Syracuse.
That's right.
Great show, great stuff. That's my guy. And as you know, Kevin is a regular guest on the Dom Mafia streams, particularly in the morning and or in the afternoon. But I'm feeling good about this, man. I really, really am. Like 30 points against that defense, 31 unanswered. Okay, here's a good question. Why do you think we kind of started off slow offensively? So did it have anything to do with maybe our starters being a little rusty for sitting out an entire week? Or do you think it was all part of the plan where we have Sean McDermott out there being the master baiter that he truly is? All right. And he just wanted to see what Denver was all offensively. What do you think?
I mean, it's the same thing that's happened all. First quarter is their worst quarter. That's just what this team is. It's not going to change because the Ravens come to town or because Denver came to town. It's just the way that they adapt and how they feel out the game. Sometimes it definitely feels like they're not a team like others who have scripted plays and use their best plays to start a game. They prefer to defer. They quite frankly do let up points on that deferment pretty frequently. Like that's not outlandish. Like I don't want to see a bad rookie receiver, in my opinion. Troy Franken's not good. Go over the top on your defensive back. That's not necessarily what I want to see. However, like ultimately the Bills adjusted. They came out with a good group of scripted plays. Like they probably didn't think that play would come. And then forever, like we're able to adjust to it. So the Bills first quarter, we've talked about it on here before. Like it's just, they're feeling it out. The Bills still ran at a super efficient clip. Like it was a little bit on Josh in the first third of the game where they needed to convert in the red zone. Like quite frankly, that needed to be 14-7 going into half, 17-10. One of those numbers, and then the Bills took off from there. I mean, they're just so good in the third quarter that if the Bills play really horribly in the third quarter, we're in trouble. So they even played good against the Ravens in the third quarter. They were playing really well until that trick play. Yeah. They played well against the Texans in the third quarter. They played well against the Rams in the third quarter. Like even in losses would be the trend here. That the first quarter kind of put them in a little bit too much of a hole in some of those games, more specifically Ravens and Rams. But ultimately, that third quarter has been so good. The fourth quarter has been good. They've been down to the best team in the league in the third quarter. It's just who they are. They can make adjustments to the team's scripted plays, and they let you use up your best plays, and the Bills feel like they have many best plays. So that even if they're running their scripted plays, they have a whole nother slew of things they can run with Josh Allen. The Bills just get better as the game goes on. And that's not necessarily true. A lot of teams peak after one drive. I mean, what was it? Knicks had 100 yards total after the touchdown drive into the mid fourth quarter. Yeah. So 31 straight points, like 1-for-8 on third down after that drive. The Bills just clamped down. Bo Nix did not look like he was seeing the field very well, including some scrambles. No, they didn't have enough weapons. Like ultimately the Bills did what they were needing to do. And if he was getting spied, so he couldn't even really utilize some of the stuff he wanted to use. Dan, that's all that happened. It's common that they just can't go out slow against the Ravens and Chiefs necessarily, because maybe even the Chiefs they could, because they can get up big, and that's a problem. And the Rams did. Yeah. So they need to avoid that. So if it turns into a shootout, that's always going to be challenging. But ultimately, I like us in a non-shootout fashion, actually. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. We see Josh Allen being like a threat on the legs against Baltimore because if I remember correctly, he really didn't do a lot on the ground against Baltimore. Let me see. Ravens. Yeah, he just had gotten hurt. So that's probably was part of it too. Like the Ravens probably knew, like, look, he's not going to risk his hand for the whole season. Yeah. So ultimately, I don't know how much the throwing limited him, but definitely at that stage of the season, running was limited. Was limited from like week 2 to week 6. Now, is that going to change, you think? Yeah. He's full bore. Yeah. We'll see Josh going ahead and just
Just run it out at the end of
more
the day.
more than normal, in my opinion. You'll see him go. Like, I really think that he knows that this is the game where you still had to be careful against the Broncos. You still had Ravens and possibly Chiefs on the fold. Now you have to go all out to get even a chance at potentially the Chiefs. So this is where you'll see him go divisional round, Josh. And I think that he'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. And that starts to be running the ball. Yeah, he ran the ball in that game 5 times for 20 yards.
Yeah, most definitely. He's not going to do that.
Long of 8, which makes me think he slid. At moments in that game.
Yeah. I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling this overall matchup. I really, really am. What about like any specific defensive matchups over there? So do you think that he can beat like all of those linebackers and like those DBs right in the second level? Or is there somebody that like we should be concerned about over in Baltimore for that? Or should Josh win like 9 times out of 10, like at like a full healthy level?
They've been playing really well defensively, like as a unit. So they're kind of like they play a different style of defense, but they're kind of like the Bills are in a way where like Roquan Smith's good, I guess.
Yeah.
Like ultimately his metrics are good, but like Kyle Hamilton's good. But like ultimately, like no one pops off to me. Like I'm not afraid of Tavares Robinson or Nate Wiggins or Brandon Stevens or anybody once you get past the D-line. Like they have a decent D-line, Matabuke, Travis Jones. I mean, big Michael Pierce, but it's ultimately not.
Now, where do they compare to the Denver Broncos as far as pressure? Close?
No. Denver was by far the best pressure team in the league. Like not even close. So no, not even to that level. So their defense is solid. It's been a good unit since they've been able to correct some stuff. But ultimately, like there's nothing there that like you may look at the Bills defense. You got Bernard and Milano and be like, all right, I'm not overly scared of one specific player there. The Ravens are kind of similar to where like it's not the team that has like TJ Watt and then Khalil Mack and then that kind of pressure NASCAR package coming at you. It's just a really solid unit that's played well late in the season.
Yeah.
No matchup there that's like that's scary. Like I don't know how we're going to overcome that. The Broncos had way more of that. Like defensively, that game, like the ideal game for the Broncos was like 10-7, 13-7 late in the game. They tried to get there and just couldn't. The Ravens, to me, like they obviously have a much better offense, so that's completely different. But Dan, there's no matchup there that is going to be scary like that.
Some NFL breaking news. Mike McCarthy is out on Dallas. He's gone. Dallas Cowboys looking for a new head coach. Who knows? Maybe it's Deion Sanders. I'm just kidding. Who knows what's going to happen there? Mike McCarthy out in Dallas, ladies and gentlemen, for the breaking news. So it's kind of hard to watch that game on Sunday, 31-7, an absolute rope. But that's exactly why I bring on my friend Kevin, because you know what? Like he watches every single facet of it. And I kind of wanted to get a good understanding of like thoughts of red flags that you saw. Like either that it was defensively, like a unit that you wish played a little better. For me, I thought that they were decent, but I'm not sure about you, but I was so anxious every single time that Khalil Shakir lined up for a punt return. I was so anxious because I was just like, listen, I love Shakir. Absolutely love this guy, but this is the first time we've asked him to do this in regular season. I cannot have some sort of special teams gaffe. Luckily, he did ultimately end up catching every single punt, which was good. Nothing ultimately ended up hurting us. That fake punt was super annoying from Denver, but they were desperate. And then I think I kind of wanted to ask about the defensive line and pressures, right? What did you see from our defensive line? Were we getting there? Like, were we getting some pretty solid pressure and like moving it in? Should we be optimistic about them? Like, talk to us.
They sure were. Like Bo Nix, they face pressure 53% of the time. Bo Nix is most of the season. Another mobile quarterback. Like, look, Bills have had years in the past, even last year, I think, like where they get the sack numbers and everyone's like, yeah, the sack numbers. But ultimately, like the safety plays a little bit of a concern to answer your original question. Special teams is always top of Kevin's list. Like that's always the issue.
Always.
Like,
Smiley, how do you have a job?
Under Smiley, who was an assistant coach underneath Farwell, who had one of the biggest blunders of all time in 13 seconds. And then they just promoted his assistant like he was any better. But that was just a curious move. Like why would that have been the move there? I want a seasoned special teams rep like you had with Aaron Cromer coming in for Bobby Johnson. Like, they need to make that kind of swap. Special teams is for sure there. They've had some good moments. Special teams, you have some players like Mac Hollins. Martin's had some good moments. Bass has been up and down. Codrington's been good, but just some of the coverage units, some of the blunders, 9 men on the field last year with, too many men on the field. Like, they've just had too many blunders, a couple of fake punts on them now, like where that's a trend. You're not running fourth and safe in the midfield where really you're not going to get any good. You're not going to get a good coverage unit in there anyways. So Dan, special teams is at the top of the list always for me right now.
Okay.
But if that's kind of a little bit of a cop out for me. It's a safety play. Like, I need more from DeMar. I need more from Rapp. I'm not saying that they're complete liabilities, but you can't have him being beat over the top. Rapp looked rusty again against New England. That is against backups, but you can't be beat over the top by Keishon Boutte or by Pop Douglas. So ultimately, like, if he was one of the one starters playing, him and Hamlin, and like, I needed a little bit better there. So safety play to me is like, I know everyone's going to point to like, I need defensive tackles. Like, that's an easy position to find. Like, the Bills are decent there. Like, it's not like the top of the league, but 53% pressure rate in the playoffs is good. Like, Bo Nix has not seen that.
Yeah.
Thus, they didn't score any more points. Like, the pressure rate was solid. They did everything they needed to do. Like, I know I want to see 7 next to sacks sometimes too, but 2 sacks with 53% pressure rate is going to win you a boatload of football games, especially when you don't have Mahomes or other elite quarterbacks in the other end of the field, for sure.
Yeah. So it's funny because I did see your tweet earlier where you said safety continues to be the biggest need for this team going into the offseason.
Yep.
Have you had a chance to start looking at specific prospects of who you would like? I think the best safety is definitely that guy from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his last name, but he's an absolute stud, 6'3", 225. And then I think there's Malachi Starks out of Georgia, who
Starks
is
out of
second.
Georgia.
And then Ramsey out of Southern Cal, and then Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame are the top 4 prospects going into it. Who's your favorite so far? Like, who are you like praying falls to the Buffalo?
Yeah, like Watts, I think is a great fit. 6 foot 200. Great fit from Notre Dame. Should be a 2nd round pick in my opinion. I think he's a really good fit with one of those 2 2nd round draft choices. Billy Bowman from Oklahoma has been a guy, 5'10", 195, been a guy that can really do a lot of different things. I really like him. Then you mentioned, obviously, Stark should be gone, so that shouldn't be as much as we can break him down. He's not going to be available. And South Carolina does have a guy up there at the top of the draft as well that, could end up playing a factor, probably will be gone by the Bills' 2nd round pick. I'm not sure if they're going to sink a first into safety. It's possible that one of those 2 2nd round picks is screaming safety to me to match up with Cole Bishop and Taylor Rapp. That's just the move to do. So you're going to really look at who could be. It could be Billy Bowman, Rod Moore from Michigan. It could be Ransom from Ohio State, and then obviously Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, and another Jalen Reed from Penn State. Those are kind of the guys I'm watching as the draft process rolls on. But those are the guys that are going to be like pick 50 to like pick 90. So those are the guys I'm keeping my closest eye on. And we don't really have a 3rd this year. So you're looking at potentially rooting for the Rams tonight because that gets us pick 56. So if you want something to root for, don't hate the Vikings. Good luck to the Vikings. I don't have any issues with them, and maybe they'll win. Always a cool story with what Darnold's been able to do. But the Bills, it helps the Bills, unfortunately, for the Rams to win. Pick 56 would be nice, so we could get one of these guys we're talking about. So ultimately, that's something to root for if you're really into these safeties. We want to keep this pick somewhere around there, and then you have 2 2nd round safeties you can pair up like you did Bernard and Dorian Williams. Now you have Cole Bishop and safety here. So that'll be a good way to overhaul that unit because I'm sure the 1st round pick is going to go to D-line. So
I was just about to say that, right? Like, you would probably think it would probably be interior for some point, right?
Probably.
Because I feel like with Daquan Jones, right? Like, obviously we need to bring somebody in because I don't know.
Yeah, Tyler Williams is a guy from Ohio State that I've been looking at a lot. I think he's a great fit. I think he does a lot well. He could be a beast. Him and Ed Oliver, so multiple. Deion Walker from Kentucky is a guy that, a lot of the draft people within Buffalo have mentioned to me. So, like, you're looking at Walker, you're looking at Kenneth Grant from Michigan, and you're looking at, to me, Tyleik Williams from Ohio State as 3 guys immediately that would be I don't know where they'll pick, but guys between 27 and 32 that you'll be really wanting to hone in on if you're the Bill scouting. I mean, I do believe defensive tackle with Ed is the play. Had a lot of high hopes for Dwayne Carter. Maybe it's the injury. Maybe it'll be second year jump for him, but he didn't look good in his film. He played a lot against the Ravens. That one, the game we're talking about, to me, like, he was a little bit better pre-injury, but I need to see a little bit of development from him in a game wrecker fashion. And edge, I know people will probably saying, like, I want an edge. Like, the sacks aren't the issue, even if you want to, like, mention the box score. Like, they're probably going to run Vaughn back for one final year, I think. I think they'll give him one final year
One
as a
last
run back.
year.
I think so, based on the contract status. They could cut bait with him Diggs style. They benefit one more run back, and then really saving some money the following year. So Vaughn, you're still going to have Epinesa. You're still going to have Rousseau on a fifth. So ultimately, like, edge to me, they'll get a vet there.
Yeah.
It's DT safety for me. Bang, and then probably best player available with the other second.
Now, here's another question. So I hate to be getting into off-season talk, especially since I have a lot to do with the playoffs right here. But, like, this is something that's been a trending topic within sort of Bills Mafia. You think that Amari Cooper is going to be a Buffalo Bill next year? Or do you think that he's going to hit free agency and just go with, like, the biggest contract? My thought process was, this dude's only been traded his whole life, right? I'm sure he's probably interested in going out and hitting free agency and seeing what he can truly receive. I think Brandon Beane will offer him something, but I just don't see him matching said contract. Not unless he'll be back. He's like a team guy. No, you don't think so?
Back. I think he's going to want to chase money. He's going to chase situation. Like, look, as fun as it is to be on a good team and play with a good quarterback, Josh Allen, will utilize who he wants. Like, it even seems like Keon Coleman is going to get some of the throws. Like, ultimately, I don't know that his ideal is to run around in his late stage of his career on a good team, opening up other players. That could be what he wants right now. I think he's going to go try to look for a medium style contender, the Green Bays of the world, or, that style range of team that could make sense. Like, from the Rams to, even like Miami could make sense. Something like that, to where you get the good weather. You may be a focal point depending on what Miami's doing there with their roster. Something like that makes a lot of sense to me, Dan. Like LA Chargers, that's probably a good one.
For sure. Sure.
Something like that to pair up with Ladd McConkey.
Speaking.
What do we talk about Ladd? I remember talking about Ladd on this show a lot.
We were talking about Ladd on this show for a while. Man, absolute baller.
I'd probably say right.
It's between him and Brian Thomas Jr. So I'd probably say we're the most impressive rookie wide receivers. Him, and then also with Malik over at the Giants. But obviously it didn't help him out that he had absolutely atrocious quarterback play all year. We'll see if Shador Sanders, who's probably going to be the QB over there.
It was such an easy evaluation for me. Like, he was really good in the SEC. He's a really good receiver. I thought he matched the Bills well. And probably the ultimate reason that Ladd McConkey's not a Buffalo Bill is because they wanted Keon Coleman instead. If Keon Coleman was gone, I still think Ladd would have been a Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
And they had Khalil Shakir. So ultimately, it's a bummer, but Shakir and McConkey with Cooper would have been such a problem. Like, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. What could have been? What
we talked about, I remember running a final mock in April or something on your show. And we said, Ladd, what he could have done in this offense. He was my final pick.
Oh, man. And people were like, no, he's a slot. And like me and you were just like, no, he's not.
No, he's a 1,200-yard baller.
And just because he's a white guy doesn't mean he's automatically a slot, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
He plays both, and he plays both well. He's with even a better quarterback. Like, 200 yards in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, he's different.
No. He is. What did you make of the whole Justin Herbert performance? Like, talk about like one of the craziest choke jobs I think I've ever seen. He threw more interceptions at a game than he did all season.
He stinks. He's a regular season merchant and not even good at it at times. Like, I am not a Justin Herbert fan. I think he chokes in. It's not even the playoffs. Like, throw the playoffs away where he's 0-2 and his team has been awful in second half. Talk about the reverse of the Bills. Just absolutely terrible in the second half of games. They finally won one game in the fourth. I forget what week it was where they finally won a game in the fourth quarter. It was against an average to below average opponent. Like, They don't get it done. They beat bad teams. Like, he has a ton of arm strength and talent. He can never beat these good players and good quarterbacks on the other side, or even good defenses. He doesn't go up against other quarterbacks. But ultimately, I mean, he just can't be up there for me. Like, you need to win a singular game against a winnable opponent. Like, you're not talking about, okay, he lost to Mahomes. All right, fine. Like, whatever. He lost to the Chiefs defense in Spagnuolo, whatever. You're talking about him, or he lost to Lamar's and Baltimore's good defense. Like, fine. But you're talking about him never being able to come out against Jacksonville or Houston. Just the teams just collapse with different coaches. So you can't blame the coach. He's a common denominator in a lot of these things. He's got a decent running game. He's, sure, he could use some more weapons, but was drafted a talented receiver in Ladd McConkey. It's at some point he's just who he is. I'm not sure he's that much better than Tua. It's just
damn.
He's
wow, that's a diss right there.
He's like the 10th best quarterback, 10th to 12th best, 9th to 12th best quarterback, and that's where he'll stay for me. And like, ultimately, he can get hot, but he doesn't win. So
no.
I mean, he's a guy I wouldn't have mind coming into Buffalo outside in January. That would have
no. Would have been
on paper scares you a little bit, but then it's like when you see him in action, it's like, yeah, that was a great throw. Then other times it's like, whatever.
Like what's he? Yeah. Like, what's he doing? What do you got for tonight, man? Rams, Minnesota Vikings.
I got Rams. I think they're too good.
Me too.
Ultimately, when the Vikings were pressed, love Justin Jefferson a ton, love Jordan Addison, love their weapons, kind of converse to other teams where they have a ton of weapons. Remind me a little bit of like the NFC's. NFC Cincinnati Bengals have a great offense. I mean, Joe Burrow is obviously better than Sam Darnold. But it comes down to like, love what they can do. I don't think it's going to be enough to beat a really seasoned, talented Rams team who can beat you in so many different ways. And Puka Nacua is a difference maker. But changing to Arizona, I don't know if those, just like what happens when the Bills transfer to a different stadium, when the Bills usually win, that doesn't mean that's the same. Like, you don't know what their families are going through, like what's happening if, back at their own homes, or wondering about their pets or their friends. Like, that stuff matters, man. These individuals, they're humans. So I can't say that end of the game. Like, we may see that early on if like the Vikings come out on fire and the Rams look lackadaisical. Then it's like, all right, like, that's strange. But I got the Rams winning this game. I think that they advance on, and they give a real scare to the Eagles.
Right to the Eagles after the fact, man. It should be interesting. You know what, man? Like, I was all high on their offense, but the fact that they can only put up 9 points against the Lions defense that has everybody on the IR was concerning. It was really, really concerning. And it almost goes back to that narrative that Sam Darnold can't live up to the big moments, because that was a massive moment. Like, that was the difference of them getting the first seed, home field advantage all throughout, and the whole 9. I gotta have Sam Darnold prove it to me that he can actually do it in a big moment. But I'm going to have to choose Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. Like, right.
He can show me tonight. I mean, once again, we don't know the psyche of the Ram. That's an interesting scenario. He can show me tonight, and maybe I'll have some more hope for him next week against the Eagles. But ultimately, like, I think the Rams will come ready. They're used to like not playing in front of fans. That's so that's a little different for them. Whereas like the Ravens or like somebody that has like the Chiefs, like they're used to that home field advantage or have good fans, like, and having to go to a silent stadium, that's weird. The Rams are used to the other team taking over anyways. So that's not that crazy. So as long as their psyche's good and everything's okay at home, I think it's the Rams game.
Yeah, no. We're gonna have to talk about some of these previews next week, like later on in this week. We're gonna have to talk about some more of the divisional rounds, including even the NFC. But guys, chat, that's gonna have to do it for an extended version of the Dom Mafia Report, a celebratory Victory Monday stream. For the rest of the week, we're probably going to be focusing exclusively on the Buffalo Bills Baltimore Ravens matchup, surrounding a bunch of other storylines going into it. Kevin, I appreciate you for coming on, man. Listen, you were always a voice of reason, and you make our takes that much more factual and give us that sense of comfort. Love having you on, my friend. What's going on with you on Built in Buffalo for the rest of the week?
I'll have a third Kevin on my show Wednesday from Lockdown Ravens to break down the three
Nice.
Kevins to break down the Ravens game. So we'll get into some of the X's and O's, the narratives coming out of there, how their fans are feeling. So that'll be fun. Love to come on late in the week, though, Dan, to break down everything I've gone through. Don't have a ton of numbers in front of me yet for this game that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But by the end of the week, I will have some stuff that I've done and researched and found. So that's what I'll be working on from today through maybe next time we speak.
All right, perfect, man. I will definitely have you on Thursday or Friday so we can unpack everything. We just gave you the tip today, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're going all in. We're going balls deep on Thursday with this Baltimore Ravens and Buffalo Bills matchup. But the tip will just have to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely appreciate you for tuning in. As always, smash that like button. Reminder, I'm giving away this signed Taron Johnson jersey. I'm announcing the winner during my Bills-Ravens live play-by-play reaction. If you want to be a part of that, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment on this video once it is all said and done. Kevin, I appreciate you coming on. And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you later this afternoon. Peace.